Okay, guys, September sales numbers are in. Actually, they were in quite a while ago, but I've been too busy to get this update out. So I thought I better get it to you before October stats are in. Let's get you updated on what's happening in our Peterborough and surrounding area market. Okay, so quick preamble. If you've been watching these updates every month, the storyline has been that everyone is waiting for this market to crash. At the exact same time that everybody's waiting for that to happen, it is simultaneously picking up speed quicker than it has each month prior. Market's expectations and the population's expectations about what's going to happen is at odds with what's actually happening. We're trying to keep track of any softening in the market, and everybody's waiting for that chance to see prices drop and then have their opportunity to enter the market when prices are low. And so far, that just isn't happening. September is just another supporting month of the crazy sales pace that our market is seeing, the lack of inventory, and the trend of buyers coming out from Toronto. So without further ado, let's get into the numbers. Okay, total sales in September, 135. That's very similar to last year. It was a good average number for the month of September. Only difference being is that we have way less inventory available. So to produce 135 sales was a lot more difficult because there wasn't much selection. So that meant it was putting a lot of pressure on every listing that was available in terms of the amount of buyers that were all trying to buy the same thing. So you see we had 114 active listings at the end of the month. We had 220 at the end of the month at the same time last year with a similar amount of sales. So you can see how much our inventory has shrunk. When we go down to months of inventory, we see it was 1.1 this year, which is extremely low. As we know, anything below 3 is low and is a seller's market, and 1.1 is extremely low. Last year, 2.2. Now to go from 2.2 to 1.1 doesn't seem like that big of a drop, but when you look at it in terms of last year, there was 220 listings available at this time, and now there's 114, and we're outputting roughly the same amount of sales volume. It means that a lot of people are fighting over a very limited amount of listings, and that's what we're seeing in the field every day. Boots on the ground. That's what buyers are experiencing when they're trying to enter the market and buy a property here. So average price, if you guys watched last month, we've been watching the price sort of up and down a little bit, but generally going up month over month. It hasn't carried an exact steady trend, but it is absolutely going up, and this month is more proof. So our average price in the city of Peterborough has hit $514,000. So that's quite a landmark. We're now well over the $500,000 mark, and it looks like we're staying there and rising. That brings me to another important point I want to bring up, is that this is up 15.4% over last year. Now, people typically expect the real estate market to appreciate anywhere between 2 to 4, 2 to 5% a year is considered, somewhat average healthy growth without having declining prices or any risk of going backwards. But a number like that is absolutely massive when you consider that if we sustain that pace year over year, how things compound. Let's take a bit of a further look into that. Okay, so we know 15% is a large number, but how big is it really? Let's just take the average sales price of 500,000. Let's just assume we hold tight there for the time being, and our market appreciates by 15% year over year and continues this current pace. This is to put into a little bit of perspective of how blindingly fast these prices are going up when they're rising at 15% per year. So after 1 year, that means that our average price is 575,000. Skip forward only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years, and the price is over $1 million. The average price. So that's sort of taking a little bit of the playbook of compound interest, and it doesn't necessarily mean that our market's going to hold at 15% that whole time. But I think when people see 15, it's a large number, but you don't really understand how big that is. We have had years in the past in Ontario where markets have seen 25, 30% year over year. And of course, that's just totally goofy, and we know we're imminently heading for an immediate slowdown. But if the market can sustain 15%, yes, it's a big number, but I want you to truly understand how massive it is, that our real estate prices could double in 5 years if that is sustained. Okay, so we're going to touch back on that point in just a minute. But one other thing we're seeing in the field is that there is a lot of people that are looking for a little bit of land. There is so many people that want some affordable property on an acre, half an acre, acre or two. And of course, the waterfront has been getting totally crashed in the recreational properties. So I just want to show you a couple of quick numbers. Selwyn in September, 2019 sales price versus 2020, 38.6% difference. Omimi, September 2019 to September 2020. Now, mind you, this is just in the month. This isn't the year to date within that year. But in the September snapshot, a 90%, 90 plus percent price increase in those 2 months. Okay, so rural property is getting eaten up quickly. Waterfront property is getting eaten up quickly. Just about everything you can think of. The bottom benchmark for entering the market as a first-time buyer is quickly moving out of range for a lot of people. And the biggest takeaway advice that I've got right now is that if you're a buyer and you're thinking about getting into this market, there's been several situations that I've been in where properties have 6, 7, 8, 10 offers coming in on them. Whether I'm on the buyer or the seller side, it's very uncommon to see people that aren't being represented by a realtor on the buyer side winning these situations because they don't have the backlog of data and history to know, okay, there's 8 offers in. How much does that mean that I should offer over asking in order to stand a chance? And 2, is that a reasonable price to pay versus on any recent comparables? So if you are trying to get into the market and you're getting frustrated without a realtor, it's still difficult even if you're being represented. But I think that if you really are aggressive and trying to find a property right now or you want to buy instead of rent, it's going to make sense for you to get represented by somebody. And odds are, unfortunately, that you're going to end up in some form of bidding war, and you have to be prepared to do that. And in most situations, the price that you're paying for the property you're buying is going to be a new neighborhood record. It's happening time and time again. And if you're afraid to pay a price that's more than a price that someone would have paid 3 months ago, odds are you're going to continue to keep missing those opportunities, and then the bar just keeps moving. Too many times already, I've attempted to save buyers a few dollars by just pinpointing the purchase price on a multiple offer situation, and then we lost by $3,000 to $5,000. And then the next one we found that was worth offering on was several months later, and it seemed like everything had just risen that much more. It's unfortunate. It's a matter of circumstance to do with how little inventory we have and how many people are moving from other cities to our city, but it's the reality of the market we're in. And if you're a seller, you're in a great position, but you got to figure out where you're going to go. And if you're a buyer, it's going to be very tough. Okay, guys, that's it. As always, I love hearing your feedback. Please give me any opinions about what you think is going to happen. Bring any information or anecdotes you got to the table. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll catch you with the October update. Hopefully not in a full month from now because I'll have the numbers before then, but I look forward to chatting with you guys soon.